Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we're doing easy weeknight orzo. I've got some gluten-free orzo here. You can use regular orzo, obviously. It will be much cheaper. We're going to start by taking 1 pound of thick-cut bacon, putting it in a preheated 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I'm starting with 3 stalks of celery, which I'm going to trim. We're going to rinse these and we're going to cut them up. This recipe was sent to me by a friend who said that it's super easy except for the bacon, so I tried to do the bacon in an easy way. We're going to slice the celery. We could probably do it even smaller than this, but I'm doing it this way because it's a weekday. It can be any size you want it to be. You could also do the thing where you cube it by going down here and cutting across. I'm not doing that today though. Usually I try to match the volume that I'm using celery with my carrots. The recipe I was provided with did not stipulate the celery at all, but she did mention it. And the carrots, it said use 1 large carrot. Usually for carrots I use one of those jumbo super giant carrots. These are regular large adjacent carrots. I'm using 2 of them because, again, volume. And I'm going to go ahead and peel those. I'll be right back after I peel them. So the recipe calls for grated carrot. Usually I don't grate my carrots. Usually I dice them. But the recipe says to do it, so I'm going to try it just to see. Okay, I'm starting to see why 1 carrot. The volume of the carrot looks much larger when it's grated. Don't try to grate it down to the tip. You will fail. I ate the tip instead. And I think I'm going to eat this one too, just because there is no reason to put it in there. The volume of these is almost equivalent to the volume of this. I might even say, if you have the time and the energy, dice the celery. At this point, I'm bringing 2½ cups of chicken stock to a boil on my stovetop. Now we're dicing a large onion. This is a Vidalia because whenever I see a Vidalia onion in the store, I buy it. The recipe doesn't actually say what to do with the onion, but I assume we're not just cooking a large onion. Sometimes logic allows you to figure out what to do. So like I said, this is gluten-free orzo. It's made with corn and rice. Now the challenge with cooking with any sort of gluten-free pasta is that they sell you 0.75 pounds of pasta instead of a pound. So the volume might be off. As I have not tested this particular product yet, I don't know. But I was told to boil 1 cup of the orzo in the chicken broth until the broth is gone. So we're treating this almost like a fancy risotto, only we're using orzo, which is much cheaper, which is great. Unless you're gluten-free, then you pay the gluten-free tax, but even then I think it still works out to be cheaper. I'm not going to add any salt to this because the broth should already be plenty salty, but we'll see. It's been 20 minutes and I'm going to pull my bacon. Okay, now I'm tipping the bacon fat very carefully into my pot. The recipe does not say how much bacon fat, it just says the bacon fat. I'm not going to use all of it, but I'm going to use most of it because we're not using another sauce. Keep an eye on the orzo, stir it frequently, don't let it sit too long. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our veg. Stir that around. Again, if we were doing this on the weekend, we might try starting the onion first, let it gloss a little bit. I'm just throwing them in all at once and living with the consequences. I'm also going to throw in a big pinch of salt. While that's going, I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 cloves of garlic. Here my recipe says measure the garlic with your heart, so use as much as you want. Go nuts. Here I've just gone with the garlic press and pressed the garlic. Recipe says mince it, but pressing it is more garlic per garlic. And just drop it in the pot. Don't forget to stir it around so it doesn't burn. I'm loving the way that this is looking over here. The challenge that you're going to have with the orzo is that because it's gluten-free pasta, it doesn't absorb as well as regular pasta. Don't forget to break the garlic up a little bit once you add it in. Once it starts to stick to the bottom, turn the heat down. And we're going to go ahead and slice our bacon. You could, if you wanted to, just simply shred it. But I feel like with the bacon being as hot as it still is, this is easier. Now, notice that two things. One, it's sticking to the bottom way more than I expected. But two, it's really saucing up a treat. I think I'm going to turn it off there and call it, because it's not absorbing any of the quote-unquote goo from the starch. But that's going to be delicious. We're still cooking the vegetables in the bacon fat. I'm somewhat skeptical that this will be enough orzo. It might be a volume issue with the gluten-free. We'll see. I was right when I said I should have diced the celery. It is taking a little longer than everything else to cook, mostly because everything else is thinly sliced and the celery is a bit chonky. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add my bacon. Now, the bacon didn't crisp up quite as much as I would have liked, but that's fine. We can let it crisp in here along with the veg. Give it just a little bit more fat that might bring that celery up to done. I'm just going to give that a little minute to express some of the fat. That way the orzo can absorb it in a minute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my orzo in. Okay, the orzo's gotten really tender and is starting to disintegrate. Now, this is normally where I'd add your basic Italian seasonings and some sort of cheese. But I was told to treat this like a comfort food dish, like, I don't know, cabbage rolls. Or something like that. And to just serve it like this. So that's what I'm going to do. The first time I make a recipe, I try to follow the directions, especially if it's one that a friend told me to make. And it seemed kind of sacrilegious to just alter tremendously. There we go. Gluten-free orzo with bacon and garlic. That looks very good. Okay, I'm gonna go eat this. I got another big day at work tomorrow. Like, subscribe, ding the little bell. Maybe leave me a comment down below. Let me know how the lighting is in this video. I got a new ceiling light because the old one stopped turning on. And this one, when I came in here, it was like, oh my God, it's like God is in my kitchen. It was so bright. You might not notice it all, but you might. I have a lot of set lights for when we do the show. Okay, I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.